As you wander about our fair city, listen for the water. Sometimes you'll hear it gently trickling, and sometimes you'll hear it gushing. And sometimes you'll simply see it reflecting back at you.
It's hard to imagine Kansas City without its fountains, but the city came to an economic crossroads as recently as the 1960s, and the fountains were turned off. Hello, I'm Bill Kalahurka for Kansas City Crossroads. Today we trace the beginnings of the fountains to a time before the turn of the century, to thousands of horses and a few concerned ladies of the Humane Society.
The early fountains were mostly utilitarian, and I'm pleased to say that the Humane Society and the women that were in it raised the money for the very first one. It's hard to believe, but in Kansas City at that time, we had 60 to 70,000 horses in this town every day. We really needed some place for everybody to get a drink.
Kansas City soon progressed from utilitarian fountains to more ornate ones that soon proved quite difficult to care for.
The one in Electric Park, for example, I think of it, was a fantastic thing, and a lot of people enjoyed it, but it was very cumbersome and large, and it just could not be maintained.
The cost of maintaining the public fountains soon became more than they could afford, and fountains moved further down the list of priorities, until Ilias Davis was elected mayor.
When Ike Davis was elected mayor, it was after a very turbulent time in our history. There were 4 years, from 59 to 63, when we had nearly a dozen city managers. The city was nearly broke, and the fountains were all turned off, as incredible as that seems now.
During the first year of Mayor Davis's administration, the city passed an earnings tax. When Frank Vadic was hired by the Park Board in 1964, he succeeded in applying some of that earnings tax money to the fountains, and they began to run again.
That buoyed a lot of people's spirits, and by 1974, then the City of Fountains Foundation was born, and we've been doing better ever since. The fountain that's here is a very special fountain because it was done by a renowned sculptor, Tsudakawa, and his opinion of fountains is very direct. He says any fountain that does not have sculpture in it is just some plumber's toy. But I think his free spirit with this sculpture does make it lovely, particularly in this kind of area. Fountains are uplifting, and they are beautiful. People can appreciate them regardless of their background. They don't have to go to school to understand them. They are reassuring, and they give you a certain sense of serenity that's not always found in every place you go. The fountains are important to the city because they give us a signature. St. Louis has an arch, Denver has mountains, San Francisco has the bay, and we have fountains.